Let me tell you a story about a little sparrow named Aria. Arya lived in a big forest where the trees stretched high into the sky, and the air was always filled with the cheerful chirping of birds. All her friends loved flying. They flapped their wings and soared so high that they looked like dots in the sky. But Arya was different. Arya was scared to fly. She would hop from branch to branch, always staying close to the ground. She'd watch her friends playing and swirling through the air. And every time they called out, "Come on, Arya, join us!" she'd shake her head and mumble, "I can't fly like you guys. My wings aren't strong enough." And then she'd look down, feeling sad and unsure. Now, one day, everything changed. Dark clouds started rolling in from far away, and soon enough, a storm hit the forest. The wind howled through the trees, shaking branches and leaves like crazy. The birds started shouting, "Everyone, get to the high branches! It's safer up there!" The younger sparrows took off right away, flapping hard against the wild winds. But Arya, she froze. She looked up at those branches high above and whispered, "I can't. I'll never make it." Her heart was pounding, and her wings felt like they were glued to her sides. That's when Pip, Arya's best friend, landed down beside her. Pip was a tiny sparrow, but he had the biggest heart. He landed next to her and said, "Arya, you can do this. I know you can. Your wings are strong. You just don't believe it yet." Arya shook her head. "No, Pip. What if I fall? What if I'm not strong enough?" Pip looked right into her eyes and said, "You'll never know unless you try. You just have to trust yourself." Arya looked up again at other birds fighting against the wind, reaching the high branches one by one. Something about Pip's words stayed with her. She took a deep breath, looked at him, and whispered, "Maybe I can." And that's when it happened. Arya spread her wings wide and strong, and she leapt into the air. The wind hit her like a wall, pushing her back, but she didn't stop. She flapped harder and harder, her little heart pounding with every beat. At first, she wobbled. The wind was fierce and it felt like it might knock her down. But Arya didn't give up. She kept flapping, her wings growing steadier and her confidence rising. "I can do this," she thought. Higher and higher she climbed until finally, she reached the high branches where the other sparrows were waiting. When she landed, Pip cheered so loudly you could probably hear it over the storm. "Arya, you did it! You really did it!" He fluffed his feathers excitedly, and other birds chirped in celebration too. Arya stood there on the branch, looking out at the forest below. The wind brushed against her, and the view was breathtaking. The storm no longer felt so scary, it felt powerful, just like her. For the first time, she realized that her wings weren't weak, they were strong, and more importantly, she was strong. From that day on, everything was different for Arya. She was no longer afraid to fly. In fact, she started flying higher than any sparrow in the forest, feeling free and fearless. And you know what else? Arya became a bit of hero. The younger sparrows would look up to her and say, "Wow, Arya's so brave. I want to fly like her." And every time Arya saw someone who was afraid, She'd land beside them just like Pip did for her and say with a kind smile, "Believe in your wings and you can touch the sky."